Bienvenidos, soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with your Capricorn new moon message. So let's get started. For many of you, there has been a type of or a sense of purging happening currently, and it's normal. It's normal because it is the the new Gregorian year. It is a new lunar cycle. There's just a lot of shifts that are occurring at this time. And the Six of Swords is that indicator of overcoming all those turmoils, which is a great thing. Don't freak out. At the bottom of the deck, we have Death. We have the King of Swords. You can see he is in reverse. We'll get to that. Queen of Cups. Four of Wands. Five of Pentacles in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune. Three of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Strength. We have the Page of Pentacles. The Emperor in reverse, and the Ten of Wands. I'm gonna stop here. If I need to, I'll pull out any additional cards. So Six of Swords. Six of Swords is symbolistic of overcoming a battle, having had a victory, right? A victory of something that was a hardship, a battle won, right? And so one of the things you want to take into consideration is that, you know, whether you have been in a disagreement or a situation where things have not been going great, this is an indicator that it's time to release what no longer serves you, right? So let's say there was a falling out with friends, family, loved ones, a coworker. This is just a transition, right? This is, and like I said before, this is a time to transition into something better, overcoming what no longer was, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. So, because there's so many different ways that you can interpret the Six of Wands, it's just that there's change. There's change that's coming. It was change that needed to occur. And while the way that it happened may not have been the best, the fact of the matter is you're coming out on top. That's not saying that you're right or that you were correct. It's just stating that, and I mean, you could be right. Let's say it was a disagreement because someone was doing something wrong and you were doing it the correct way, the right way. You said the correct things. That could be an issue. But what this ultimately wants to represent is that you're overcoming something that you've been battling with for a while, right? And so a huge indicator is that it is time for change and you can't avoid it anymore, right? There's something that you've been dealing with for a very long time, and this is a sign that it is time to let it go, to overcome, leave it in the past, right? And we see this with death. Death being that ultimate indicator of the ending of a cycle, right? Things that no longer need to be there. That's what this is here for. It's that reminder that you gotta let sleeping dogs lie, like let go of it, let that cycle end. If you were the one that was always chasing, trying to make something work with your family, a former partner, former lover, old family member, whatever it was, like whatever this dynamic is no longer serving, right? And it has to be let go. That's why the Six of Swords is here, right? These two are indicators of you have to let the cycle end. You have to overcome. And that's why we have the King of Swords in reverse. Now, the King of Swords in reverse is just that reminder that you have this ability, this power. You have that strength within you to be able to overcome. And you are able to overcome any manipulation that has been used against you, that has been weaponized against you, right? You are now seeing the negativity of these individuals being around you the way that they had been, and it's time to let that go. That's what this is here for, right? It's time to let that, to let, to overcome that battle, right? And you have to let that cycle die. You can't keep going back to these old cycles in which you were being manipulated by others. You have the power to overcome that. It's just that reminder. And then we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is someone who is fully capable of harnessing their emotional capabilities, right? And you may say like, hey, I'm emotionally stable. Like, yeah, that's great, which is, you know, essentially what we all wish to accomplish, having some type of emotional stability. But everything that you're going to be encountering is going to be challenging that. And sometimes when these cycles seem to be coming around again, it's because you have to learn how to not cave when you've set those boundaries, right? And as the Queen of Cups, she is fully capable of being able to overcome the instability that comes with the manipulation tactics that others may bring around you. So, and the reason why I keep referring it as to others, because it could be within yourself, but the reason why I keep saying with others is because we have the Four of Wands in reverse. The Four of Wands in reverse typically is an indicator that there is, it has to do with union. And so whatever union that you had celebrated in the past is no longer around, right? This is um an undoing, I guess. I guess that's a, not necessarily a divorce, but what it, I mean, it could be divorce, but what this is primarily highlighting is that it's something more along the lines of um what is it that I want to say? It's an undoing, right? Like a breaking of a contract, the breaking of a union, the undoing, because there is no stability here. This is like conflict with others, transitioning away from something. But it also could be, well, that's how it's going with this. Another way to interpret this is that you're celebrating yourself. Now, mind you, let's say this is a divorce, right? Let's say this is a divorce, and it's tough, right? Like some people may be happy that a divorce is coming, and that's not, I mean, and that's a personal victory, right? This is something that you can interpret it like, yes, it's a breaking of a union, but it's for a good reason, kind of a thing. You're finally rid of what never served you well, or what no longer serves you well, which is a good thing. So that's that indicator with like that King of Swords, right? That, you know, if there had been a relationship with manipulation and like maybe a narcissist, someone that did not treat you well, then it's good that this union is dissolving in the way that it is. And moving forward, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. There is recovery here. There is overcoming a lack of resources. You're going to be coming into abundance. So it's very important that when you come into abundance, that you are mindful, and I've stated this before, you're mindful in the ways that you're going to manage these new resources that are coming in, right? Being smart about how you manage them. Don't just blow all your resources on frivolous things. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with treating yourself. But be mindful, like if there are debts that need to be paid, if there's loans that need to be finalized, being paid off, if there is a way that you can better invest these things, then, you know, do so. Put it aside as a nest egg for a rainy day, right? Like that's one of the things you want to take into consideration, is that you're gonna be wise about it, right? You don't want to make a mistake and wind up making the same bad choices that have not helped you, right? You want to be sure that you have that safety net. So that's one of the things that are coming up here. So it's important to note that. We also have the Two of Wands. I was looking at the Two of Wands. We also have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is what's also awesome, that it comes backing the Five of Pentacles, is that it is an indicator of good karma, good fortune, resources coming in, which is ideally an awesome thing. But again, be mindful of how you deal with it, right? That's one of the things where you want to be sure that with this good fortune coming in, you're going to be wise about it, okay? And with that, we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is a sign of collaboration, right? As you see the three hands here, you're going to be you're going to be what's the term that I want to use? There's going to be some partnerships that are coming together, like maybe a type of merger, or like a financer for like a business that you might have been trying to work on, or someone that's helping you find or secure a job, or some type of licensing that you may need to get something started. There's just a union that's going to be happening here in regards to what's going to be bringing you in this abundance of resources. However, that is followed with the Two of Wands in reverse. The Two of Wands could be an indicator of I keep thinking insecurity, but insecurity is not the word I'm thinking. It is being unsure. you're second guessing yourself. So um you have goals, right? You have goals, and you're trying to align with them, right? Let's say you have you if you had New Year's resolutions, or you're setting your intentions because today's the new moon, you are making that list that you want to manifest, right? Those are your goals. You're setting your resolutions, you're setting your goals, and yet things have been popping up, so you haven't been able to kind of quite start. It's also this is also serving as a reminder on following through with aligning with what these goals are. But it's also that sign that you may be second guessing yourself, right? You need to be able to um, overcome the fear of that what if, right? Usually, a lot of people have a plan and they don't know where to start, or they're second guessing themselves because they start to think of like the what ifs, like what if it doesn't work out, what if it fails, what if it was a bad time and I put all my money into it and then I don't have any money to start again, and it's a bunch of what ifs, right? But the fact of the matter is the sky will still be blue. There's a quote that I wrote down in one of my journals, um, that, and I might be chopping it up in the way that it's stated, but it says, it takes as much energy to worry or fear something than it does to have faith in it. So why not put all your energy into having that faith, right? And so that's what this is like. Don't if it There's that fear of the unknown, there is a way to overcome it, right? Or it could be that you have this great idea, you just haven't gotten around to getting the plans off the ground. You haven't planned it. Or you know that you've been wanting to sit down and make your resolution list and you still haven't, your goal list, that your steps that you're trying to get through in regards to life, to get to where you want to be, and you haven't sat down to do it. So it's time to sit down and do it, because what better time than the new moon in Capricorn? Capricorn, the most hard working sign of the zodiac, the business, like Capricorns are typically associated with business. They're seen as business. If you Most people think of Capricorn, they think of business, right? So no better time than like today. And it's followed with courage. Sorry, with strength. I saw the lion and I thought courage. So strength. You have the strength to overcome. You have the strength to succeed. You have the strength to do what you have to do. This is just that reminder of like, yes, there are times that we may feel like we can't be the Lord's strongest warrior, but you're not doing it for the Lord. You're doing it for you, right? You're doing it for the betterment of your life. You're doing it for the betterment of your future, the future of your family, the future of you, right? This is just that reminder that you are strong. And as much as it sucks and you're tired of being strong, the fact of the matter is that strength isn't going to go anywhere. Similar to putting choosing to put energy into either fear or into faith, put it into the faith of your strength, because you know you're strong enough to overcome. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. Again, it is that reminder that things are going to be coming to you, so you're going to be in a state of learning how to manage your resources so that they are ever abundant and stable, and that you can have that stable, happy life that you've been working towards. Now, one of the other cards that we do have here, which is kind of surprising with all of this, so I do believe that it does tie into the Two of Wands in reverse, as well as, well, I don't want to say the King of Swords in reverse, but definitely with the Two of Wands in reverse. We have the Emperor in reverse. When we have the Emperor in reverse, it's usually, well, one of the first things that I think of is when I see this is I think of imposter syndrome, where you've studied, you've been working really hard to learn um, on how you are gonna be able to make something happen. um, like that second guessing of you second guessing yourself kind of a thing. It could also mean um, well, I'm gonna tie it into death a little bit. So the Emperor could also mean being power hungry, um, or it could also mean that you're setting your ways, right? And that's where I tie into death. It's that when you are so used to not having power or control in your own life, you overcompensate because that fear of never having control again will trigger something within you. And if you are stubborn, set in your ways, and you don't accept the concept of like letting go and letting cycles end, there's not going to be this influx, right? Change is inevitable. A lot of people like associate snakes with something negative, and they're not. The snakes and people prefer to use the concept of a cocoon and a butterfly because butterflies are beautiful when it comes to change. But the fact of the matter is that butterflies only change once. But as human beings, we are more like snakes. Snakes and lizards, reptiles tend to shed very regularly as they grow, right? And so they go through this process. Even birds will molt their old feathers. So if you prefer to do feathers and birds, the idea is this is a season of change, especially right now with how, and I've seen it with so many different people at this time, with so many different situations, things ending, things shedding, things needing to change. And if you are going to be inflexible, you are not going to reap the rewards, because these rewards are coming for those who are ready to change. Right? And so that's where like this indecisiveness may be, because you're like, well, I'm so used to being in control and I can't just give it away to the universe. Trust me, I've been there. I get it. It's tough. I grew up in a situation where I didn't have the control of my life that I wanted to have. And when I finally had it, I didn't know what to do with it. And once I was able to control my own life, it was very difficult to be able to let go and give it to the universe or give it to God or whatever it is that you believe in. It is hard because it's scary to trust. But if you're not willing to trust, you're not going to gain the fruits of that labor, because it is only going to be awarded to those who are willing to put in the work that is needed to change for the better. And it's painful, and I know, because we have the 10 of Wands. It's hard. It hurts. But as you can see here, you're tired. You're tired of being strong. And sometimes not being the one in control of power requires a level of strength to be vulnerable. And one thing that I also learned is that there are some people that do not have the strength or emotional capacity to be vulnerable. And guess what? Guess what? They're the type of people that, oh, I can't cry in public, or I won't let anyone see me cry, because you're afraid to let anyone see you vulnerable, because you think that crying makes you look soft and weak. And guess what? It only proves that you are just not strong enough to handle emotions. Someone who's vulnerable enough to show their tears has more strength than anyone that goes and cries in the shower, in their car. Crying doesn't make you weak. Being able to show I'm vulnerable and I'm strong enough that you can't take me down is the strongest you can be. Because you have the power to still overcome despite crying and showing emotion. And the Ten of Wands is that indicator that when you release, you will be supported. This looks like it's going through, but really it's just supporting, because you're tired. You're tired of always being strong, right? And you think, I wish it wasn't so strong. Well, you know what? You got to be strong enough to be vulnerable and share that. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? Oof! So let's continue on. Mighty Fates, what lesson do you have to add to this reading? One card, please. What message do you have to add? So let's see. Ooh, I love that this one came out. We have movement depicted as the snake. We have release. Perfect. It goes along with the Six of Swords. And get creative. Very beautiful cards. So let's see. This is an accidental card. Okay. Well, I'm going to say accidental card, but I find it funny because sometimes it's not an accident, right? So we have movement. Movement. Physical movement can quick start major shifts in our internal and external worlds. Whilst this movement can take any form, keep in mind that the type of movement any type of movement we do can invite in emotions and experiences associated with it. Intense and vigorous movement can help us access our motivation, power, and fire. Slow and methodical movements can help us tap into our deeper feelings and is especially helpful in releasing, healing, and deeper work. When we move our body, we are allowing any stuck or stagnant energies within us to flow, bringing back space for the new. What type of movement do you need, and how can you incorporate it into your day more? I don't make this shit up. Let's move on with release. 22. Here we go. Release. Releasing is a lot easier said than done. In fact, we spend a whole lifetime trying to break free from our limiting beliefs or painful experiences. Sometimes we have an idea of where we want to go, so we compartmentalize and repress the things we believe are holding us back. But we still want to honor ourselves and our experiences. We just want to give ourselves new options of behavior so we are not stuck within the same old pattern. Spend a moment reflecting. What is no longer serving you? What is old, stale, and taking up space within you? What would you do if these things didn't take up so much of your energy? What other behaviors and beliefs do you wish you possessed? Time to reflect on that. And last but not least, we have get creative. Let's see. Here we go. To be human is to be creative, but it is easy to lose sight of this. From a young age, we absorb cultural stigma around the arts and creativity, that it is impractical and should take a back seat to more lucrative pursuits. But the truth is, creativity brings flow to our life. It finds openings. Without a creative practice, we can easily find ourselves stuck and uninspired. And there's so many ways to be creative. You maybe feel called to rearrange your living space or write or take pictures. All of these things are great. Creativity is a way of life, not an activity. This card is asking you to look around and see what things inspire you. What do you feel called to create or transform? Think outside the box. Love it. Let's finish out with the animal spirit guides. Animal spirit guides. Ooh, right off the bat, we have Dove Spirit. Be peace. Here we go. Be peace. With her peaceful cooing, the gentle Dove Spirit invites you to embrace the energy of peace and allow compassion to warm your heart. You always have the power to generate peace within you. And the appearance of Dove Spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, to quiet any turbulence within you, as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you're called to engage it with a heart of a peacemaker, asking yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world as Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of a harmonious existence with all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart. However disturbed the waters are around you, however troubled your heart, Dove Spirit is here to remind you that peace without begins within as you reconnect with Spirit through practices that awaken you from spiritual amnesia. Your true nature is as a peaceful child of Spirit, but how easily you forget. You're being invited to sit in the cozy, safe nest of Spirit. Soon the waters will become still and you will feel peace again. Be compassionate with yourself at this time, for all of us can forget that peace is always at hand, always there, gifted to us by Spirit. Become the peace you wish to see in the world so you can reduce any suffering, performing acts of kindness and radiating love. Dove Spirit also reminds you that when you see inequity or someone harmed or in need, trust that you have the capacity to bring peace through smiling, sending love, speaking a kind word, and listening with a compassionate heart. Do your part to be the peacemaker, nourishing compassion, reminding others of the joy of harmonious coexistence so that they may embrace the Dove Spirit within themselves too. Well, there you go. I genuinely hope that this message helps. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.